Here's a collection of actual crimes committed by really dumb criminals. Just sit back and enjoy the insanity as we present. Stupid crime stories you just won't believe. In 2012, a 50-year-old Massachusetts man was driving down Main Street until he came to a stoplight. The man stopped his car and began snorting heroin in broad daylight. Apparently, heroin can be injected, smoked, or snorted. His actions caught the attention of the driver who had stopped beside him. That driver was a police officer and he was in his patrol car. According to the officer, a car pulled up alongside him in the left lane. And when the officer looked over, he noticed the driver snorting a powder from his hand. He said when the driver looked up and saw the officer watching him, he just hung his head. He knew he was busted. The officer then arrested the driver, identified as Michael Porcello, along with a front seat passenger. Both were charged with drug possession. Police recovered 5 bags of heroin at the scene. A passenger in the rear seat managed to run away. Police wound up using a helicopter to track him. He was later found hiding out at the city's sewage waste treatment facility. He was charged with resisting arrest, trespassing, and disorderly conduct. He also had 5 outstanding warrants. 5 years later, in 2016, police in that area conducted a sting operation. They watched people buy drugs from a dealer sitting in a parked car. After each transaction, the buyers were taken into custody. In all, they apprehended 15 drug buyers before arresting the dealer as well. One of the 15 arrested was the same man who was snorting heroin at the traffic lights in 2011. This time it was for cocaine possession. In 2011, 2 men from Canada hired a young woman as a mule. In the drug business, a mule is someone who personally smuggles illegal drugs across a border for dealers. Using a mule reduces the risk of the actual dealer getting caught. The woman was given $200 for a room at a local inn, $100 for a driver to pick her up, and $300 in spending money. In addition, she would be paid $4,000 to transport nearly 24 pounds of cocaine into Canada by way of Washington state. She was to pick up the package and get a room at a bed and breakfast called the Smuggler's Inn. We're not kidding. The name of the place really is the Smuggler's Inn. It's located in Bellingham, Washington, just south of the Canadian border. She was told to ask for a downstairs room with a door facing the Canadian border. She would leave the package outside the door to her room. First, she was driven to a local Pizza Hut and handed the package. She then had to call the Smuggler's Inn and request a ride. She would then pay the driver the $100 she was given. However, they were about to have some company. It turns out that Homeland Security received a tip about possible drug activity at the Pizza Hut. Thus, agents were watching when her ride pulled into the parking lot and picked her up. They also noted that the license tag on the SUV was a vanity plate that read smuggler. Just think about that for a moment. The woman was smuggling drugs across the border while staying at a hotel called the Smuggler's Inn. And she was getting picked up in an SUV with plates that spell smuggler. This one is just too easy. Agents pulled over the SUV and questioned the woman, who was in the passenger seat. They said she appeared very nervous and erratic. She then admitted to having a gift-wrapped box in the car. Officers searched the box with her consent and found 9 bricks of cocaine weighing 11 kilograms. She told authorities that she had booked a room at the Smuggler's Inn, which is located about 150 feet from the Canadian border. It was part of a deal that involved her transporting the cocaine to Vancouver. Interestingly, the driver of the SUV was also the owner of the inn. That would explain the name on his license plate. He told police he was just giving her a ride and had no knowledge of what was in the package. Since they could not connect him to the crime, he was not charged. Agents then arrested the woman and waited for the other party to make contact. A man eventually called the woman as police listened. Apparently, they were feeling nervous because they tried to persuade her to bring the cocaine across the border. However, since she was now in police custody, she convinced the men to come to her. So 2 men drove to the Smuggler's Inn to pick up the box in person. Agents then set up surveillance and waited for them to arrive. They eventually saw a car cross illegally from Canada into the US. The driver stopped in front of the hotel shortly before midnight. Two men got out and approached the package. However, once they saw police, they ran away. Officers were able to arrest the suspects after a brief foot chase. The woman, 20-year-old Jasmine Clare, pleaded guilty in U.S. District Court in Seattle to conspiracy and possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. Police also arrested 24-year-old Gurjeet Sandhu and 25-year-old Narminder Kalar on similar charges. At the time, both men had pleaded not guilty. As mentioned earlier, the owner of the Smugglers Inn was not charged in this crime. However, he was charged a few years later for allegedly assisting people illegally cross the border. And while he was charged with 21 counts under the Immigration Act, he still denies any wrongdoing. Because the hotel is right on the US-Canada border, it sees a lot of illegal activity. Thus, the owner thought it would be fun to call it the Smugglers Inn. However, after years of negative publicity, he may want to reconsider that name. In 2016, police in Arlington, Texas were searching for the suspects who had stolen 3 cell phones. They were taken from a victim's car at an apartment complex. In the past, these types of crimes would usually go unsolved as there were seldom any leads. However, this is the age of social media and it seems that criminals just can't resist exposing themselves. And that's exactly what happened in this case. The 2 individuals who stole the phones started taking selfies. However, they had no idea that the photos were automatically being sent to the victim's computer. It's the type of crime that even police have to laugh about. Take a look at their Facebook page. They posted the photos with a statement that read, "The face you make the moment before you realize, or don't, the cell phones you just stole automatically sent those selfies to the victim's computer." In one of the photos, we see the couple taking pictures while lying in bed. Notice that the man is also on a second phone. In another image, the male suspect appears to not know a picture is being taken of him as he sits in a car. There are also several selfies of the woman. Just think about it for a moment. Once these photos are automatically uploaded, you're literally telling the owner, "Hello, I'm the one who stole your phone." Police posted 3 of the photos and asked for the public's help in identifying the couple. And as we've come to expect, the public is always eager to participate in the comment section. The very next day, they received numerous tips from people who knew the suspects. Arlington police then announced that they had identified the couple. While police did not release their names at the time, you can be sure that the next photos taken will be mugshots. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Our weekly videos will feature such topics as stupid crime stories, classic TV, and the real stories behind popular songs from the past and present. There will be even more categories as we continue to grow.